Yeah, what's up out there, Facebook, Instagram, any platform that this may end up on in the future. It's been quite a trying time for all of us lately. Definitely. A lot of things have just been testing our true weaknesses, it seems. And the things that were lying underneath that we thought were healed quite long ago. All of us, through my experiences, whether it be, people I look up to or people that look up to me, everybody is going through it right now. And the reason for this video is I'm completely reshaping the way I do things and what I stand for. And that's just to kind of broadcast that on a really public scale, right? And the reason I'm doing so is because I've just learned so much lately. I have full body chills. Like, I might cry during this video. You never fucking know. But my purpose for this video is to basically be real, right? And so I'm going to be starting this series called BeReel, and it's just going to be me at my most vulnerable, states of consciousness, and me really truly going through these lessons on my own. Because the reason I got into healing and helping others is because I helped myself first, right? Through the help of others showing me how to help myself, I truly was able to change my life. And it's been incredible since, it really has. The things I go through now are far less, they're different, right? Let's just say that they're different. You're always going to go through things, just how you handle them, right? And I'm really coming to a point in my life where I'm redefining what love is. I'm redefining what success is. I'm redefining what community is. I'm redefining everything. All sorts of things have been pointing at certain attributes and aspects of life that are really reshaping. And so I just want to kind of share some of that with you. So, as many of you know, I come from a background of pretty hardcore addiction, whether it be alcohol, drugs, street life, fighting, sex, everything, really everything, from meth to heroin to alcohol to gang fights to you name it. I haven't done it all, but I've been around, right? And that was just obviously super traumatic, right? There was rapes in there. There was so many stillborn children, miscarriages. There was me getting raped at one point. Many of you don't know that. There was all sorts of things that happened from 12 years old to 2018, really. And just tons of stuff that really were just I kept perceiving or persevering and overcoming. But I was really setting these things up in my own life. You guys know that, by law of attraction, and what my perception of the world was at that time. So I really struggled for a really, really, really long time, and I was blessed with a friend who took me under his wing, showed me journaling, showed me how to reprogram my subconscious memory, showed me about manifestation, about meditation, about martial arts to channel my anger, just all sorts of things that really, really, really saved my life. And so that's why I'm so passionate about what I do for others. So I got to a point though, right? I started Embark Spiritual Care in 2020. Just lost a garage door company with a partnership, and everything in the world was kind of unstable and kind of scary for a lot of people. So I figured, I feel confident in who I am. I feel like I really reprogrammed my belief systems and my shortcomings, and so I really want to do this for other people. So that's when I started Embark Spiritual Care, handcrafted jewelry. I was already training in Reiki for a little while, so we offered that, sound healing and stuff like that, to really help people, guided coaching, guided mentorship. So we started really helping people, and it was honestly amazing. It was a very, very slow start, but then we got in a couple shops with the jewelry. We got into, a couple hearts of the clients who trusted us with their spirits, and so it just really started to evolve over time, and then I started all these, like, I really wanted to just go farther for community benefits, so I started a lot of like nonprofit things, like did a lot of little projects for free for people, or started some groups, and then everything was great, really. Everything was great for a while, and then I got into a relationship, that was honestly a beautiful relationship, and things were great there. And then I wanted more, though. I wanted to make more money in less time so I could spend helping more people, which isn't a bad intention, right? And I wanted more for my potential family that I was about to have. And so I decided to go out on my own, started a handyman business, and it was good. I had a few really, really, really serious clients at first that really allowed me to take off, and allowed me to make all that possible for myself. And so I finally got a service truck, and the service truck ended up breaking down like so many times. Long story short, the relationship suffered because I was so stressed out with the service truck breaking down, with finding more work, with just, I was working 12-hour days all the time, and the relationship, it ended. It suffered because of that. We were expecting a child. She had a miscarriage after leaving California, and we tried after that, but things were just kind of, they were tarnished, right? They weren't any good anymore. It was too far gone, and before I really realized it. And so, that was a big setback for me, a really big heartbreak, because all I've ever wanted was a family, and then I didn't have a family, and I realized, like, a lot of these, like, at the same time all this is going on, a lot of my support systems and stuff, like a few of my elders, a few of my mentors, some of my support groups, some really close friends, they all just kind of drifted away. And even my mom and my dad, like I talked to my dad for like the first time in like 7 years, and we were kind of rekindling our relationship just to get into another big argument to like stop talking again. Me and my mom almost cut ties, which I'm very, very thankful we didn't. And just like so many things that were just like, what the, like, whoa, is this really happening right now? And at the same time, my truck was broken down. I was having a lot of trouble finding new work because it's hard to find work without a service truck. And just like so much was going on, and really I really felt like I was losing purpose there for a second, because I didn't have anybody to do it for. My family was gone, my friends were gone, my support systems were gone. It seemed like my company was slipping out of my hands, and but I buckled down. And I did meet somebody and started hanging out with her quite often, and we got into a relationship. But then it was like all this pressure put on her, like in an unconscious, subconscious sort of way, right? Because like I was just longing for like meeting somebody, and she was actually like, or she is, and actually like a very independent, like strong woman who like wants boundaries at first because she's protecting her children, and like, just like good things that I was just like not comfortable with because I needed that, and so that was like, it was really good for me because we went back and forth from like understanding to like, no, that isn't right, to like understanding to like, no, that isn't right. But honestly, through that, I learned a lot, because nobody is responsible for my happiness but myself, But then there's that other argument, like I really am just not happy if I'm not of service to people. That's in human nature, it really truly is. And so then there was like this other reflection period, and mind you, during these times I don't do any healings. I kind of hold my space and just kind of go through my own thing. I rarely talk to clients when I'm going through stuff like this unless it's an emergency. It's just, it's important that I don't just spread this on others through, I have to be pure to be able to serve others. So I've been taking some time for myself, and many of you may know that. Some friends may be wondering like what happened. just, yeah, a lot. And so I started really reflecting on myself. And then the things with my mom and my dad really brought up like childhood things, and just like, whoa, there was a lot going on for a while there. And so finally, I was like literally almost to the point of giving up again, and I know that's not possible for myself, but I reached out to people, I reached out to some elders, I reached out to some friends and let them know how I was feeling. And my girlfriend, I let her know, what was going on. And honestly, I was still trying with the business there for a second, like going for it, making it happen with the handyman business. Embark Spiritual Care will always be there. I'll never give up on it. But it's just, I reflected for a whole day. I watched a few documentaries, and the documentaries are called I Am, Crazy Wise, and the last one was, I'll have to think about it and it'll come back to me. But they were all, The Ultimate Life, yes. But they were all just really what I needed to see that day. And they had the same underlying message, but the purpose of all this was to, it really showed me, because my ego got in the way for a second. It truly did, because I was like, no, I've built this, I don't want to give up on it, it has to be successful. And then the Spirit has a way of showing you what's in alignment and what's not, the truck constantly breaking down. I mean, it's cool. I have a brand new engine and a classic truck now, so it's sick, and I'll eventually restore it, and it'll be cool. So I'm happy with that. But at the same time, as far as everything else, there was a few clients that all of a sudden disputed payments that were totally successful and satisfied jobs. That fell through, and then I had this one. This is still going on. Just the other day. I had this one client, she asked hey, finish this customer service window by the end of the weekend. I know it'll be boring, but that's okay. And I'm all right, gave her the bill. She only wanted to pay half of it. And then there was still some touch-ups because I was there till 11 o'clock at night. And I was hey, I want to do another coat on this, but I'm just painting it so it looks presentable enough for the week, And then by the time that she's okay, I'll let you know when they come back and schedule it. And then she had some wiring issues, and she thought it was my fault, which it never was. I confirmed that with the IT guy, and just a bunch of things. So then she didn't want to pay me, and then she agreed okay, I'll pay you this amount, which was $500 less after you finish your touch-ups. And I was hold on, if you're not willing to pay me all of it, and I'm already gonna be doing that out of courtesy, what makes you think I'm gonna want to do that for $500 less than what I built you for, after you approved? Anyway, so that was a big blow up, right? And that I needed that to keep all this going. And so I sat down and just reflected, and I was is this really what's going on? What do I want? What am I called to do? And what do I need to do? Just like one of my elders teaches me, right? Thank you so much for that. And so I really sat with that for a whole day. And I know my calling. My calling is to help others, and it's from living through the heart, really living a passionate life about overcoming challenges and depression and suicidal thoughts and addiction. That's really where my heart lies, is helping others get through that, right? And so I knew that, okay, well, all this handyman stuff, all of this is taking too much time away from the spiritual care company, and I designed it to do the opposite, but it really played out the other way, right? I was always doing accounting when I got home. I was beat after working 12-hour days. I had no energy for it anymore, so that really started lacking. I was falling behind on my jewelry making. Just I started noticing these things. Whoa, hold on a second, and then sat with that all day and realized dude, maybe this isn't right for right now. You're a tradesman, you're worth your own company, but you also want a house, and nobody's gonna approve a loan for a self-employed 28-year-old, there's just no way. So and that's the sad thing, you know what I mean? Because I really do work hard, and I'm proud of my work. I stand by my work, and, you know, the whole 9 yards. But at the same time, like, that's a lot of stress, dude. That's a lot of stress. Plus, like, all the family stuff you've been going through, all the personal stuff you've been going through. Like, is it really right for your mental state? And then I kind of felt defeated, right? By the end of the night, I was like, no, it's not, you know, like, I have to give it up, but it's the right thing to do. And I was kind of like, my ego was like poking at me, laughing at me, right? Kind of like I named my truck Francine, from that nanny from that 90s TV show, you know? She has that like awful laugh. Every time my truck broke down, I heard her laughing at me, so I named her Francine after I fixed her all up. But so yeah, like my ego was like Francine laughing at me, you know? It was just horrible. And but then I wake up the next day, and I have a day to make jewelry then, because that job fell through. I don't have any more work lined up. And I'm like, okay, hold on, make a couple meetings, see if you can get your old job back, because I slayed it there, you know. I was always great to him, he was always great to me, left on good terms. So I had a meeting with him, and he's like, yeah, I'll know by the end of the month, you know. And I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure if the rest of these payments come through, then I'll be able to squeeze off this month. So like, I had a day to make jewelry, to really reflect on myself, to meditate, just to like journal, to chill, to really figure out what it was I was going to do. So the idea was just to put something on in the background, motivational, why I made jewelry, and just kick it, not really pay attention too much to that, right? Well, the 3 movies I put on were just like, I was just meant to see them, right? The first one was Crazy Wise, and it was about like shamans going through like terrible experiences, usually in their childhood, and using that medicine that they've learned in that journey to help others excel and elevate life, right? And so that was just like, okay, well, that makes sense why I went through all that, and I already kind of knew that, you know. I've already transmuted that poison into medicine, you know. Definitely, I got that Scorpio medicine in me. But there's the venom medicine, they call it. But yeah, there's a transmutation that takes place from like your weaknesses becoming your strengths, right? And your passions, because it's energy, right? When you're like really sad or angry, that's all energy. Energy is never created nor destroyed, so you can't really get rid of that energy. So instead of just like feeding more and more into the negative side, you learn to harness that energy and really push it forth into what you believe in, into where your heart is. And that's helping everybody in this world, in this community. And I'm done holding myself back. I'm done holding myself, like, my ego holds me back a lot, because I'm like, no, you gotta edit that video. Like, no, don't say that. Like, you know, people are gonna take it this way or that way. Like, I'm really done caring what anybody thinks about what I do, because the people who I do care what think, you know. And I mean, there are certain people definitely that I'm like, okay, like, what's your opinion, you know what I mean? But like, generally speaking, if I know it in my heart, then it shouldn't matter to anybody, right? Because this world isn't right now. So how can I be judged by a world that isn't right by what is right? You feel me? So I'm really living this through my heart, and my heart aligns with others' hearts, and that's who I trust. So that being said, I learned through those movies, those documentaries that I watched. The second one was called I Am. It was about this. It was basically about how people were becoming the problem that they were really trying to fix. So by me creating this handyman business and you know, staying completely insured and booked and busy and grinding away, you know what I mean? I was really feeding into this system that I really don't believe in. Really hard, you know? And so I was becoming that. And then I was realizing, like, I'm stressed and like all this is happening, and then I realized, like, whoa. And then one of the documentary I Am pointed out that back in the day there were hunters, right? And for the villages, for their tribes. And certain hunters were better than others, obviously. So eventually one of those hunters said, okay, well, I kill more game, so I'm deserved to feasting, you know what I mean? I deserve more meat. So he started storing some of his meat and some of his kills on the top of a high mountain, right? Well, others started eventually following in his footsteps and storing their meat. And before they knew it, at the bottom of their tribal pyramid, you know, the elders and the children on the bottom, they, because they're the weakest link, essentially, they're the ones that can't exactly put forth physical labor and work, but they still bring forth such great benefits, so they're just as important as the strong young men on the little point, you know, that are able to do that work, you know. By no means am I saying that children and elders are not as important at all. However, they're the reason, right? They're the reason where we left off and where we start. So they're the reason we're doing what we're doing. Absolutely. And so I realized that, wow, you know, that's crazy, and I kind of been feeling that way, you know, like I feel like I put in all this work, I deserve more. That's why I started the company, like, wow, you know. And then the handyman business, and then I realized it pointed out, I didn't realize it, I realized after it told me, right? But it demonstrated that, okay, well, that's something taking more than it truly means, right? And then it pointed out how in a lot of cultures and a lot of like old teachings, it really points out that like anything in an excessive amount is a bad thing, right? And nothing in moderation is really truly a bad bad thing. So it was basically pointing out that there's a word for that in the human anatomy, and for something taking more than it needs, and that's cancer, right? And then I had this epiphany, like, holy shit, I've become a cancer to the world, you know what I mean? Like, whoa. And like it's deep, dude, because I really care about this world, like my place in it, you know, and like, because I want to die knowing that I made it a better place, in some way, shape, or form. But in reality, the last since November of me starting that company, it's really just truly occupied my mind and my soul. And yeah, it was for good intentions, because of like wanting to acquire all of that capital and, you know, assets so I can serve others with it. But at the same time, Spirit just let me know that it's got my back, and I don't need to, I just need to do what I'm doing, right? And that was a very, very, very profound moment. Profound. And then the third, the ultimate life, was truly just about how family is the biggest fortune and community is the biggest fortune. And honestly, like, I've made more money this year than I ever have in my life, probably the last 2 years combined. However, I have nothing but a new truck to show for it, essentially, you know. And I lost a lot of good friends. I lost some family. There's been a lot that I've lost because of that, and I don't feel rich at all, you know. I feel very poor. So I'm reshaping all that, and the reason I'm being so vulnerable with you guys and sharing this, it's not for your pity party, it's not for you to feel bad for me, not anything like that, because trust me, like, I'm good for sure, but it really is truly like me not lying to myself anymore, and me not lying to you guys anymore, and just really like allowing myself to be me, because that's where the medicine is, you know. It's not where I think it's at, it's just where it's at, right? I'm me. I'm not perfect, and if you guys can learn from my experiences, you know, that's really what I bring to the table, because I've made a lot of poor choices. I've learned a lot of lessons the very, very, very hard way. Really, truly, I have. So, you know, that's my story for now. I have a couple like really profound stories that I want to share with you guys. I've been thinking more and more about like some sort of a documentary or a book, or you know, maybe both, just to kind of document all of my journeys, because There's a lot to tell. There really is. But I'm gonna start telling it and not be worried about who thinks what, and not be worried about my ego anymore. You know, because like I'm just done living a life that is unsatisfactory and unhappy. When I'm the happiest, I'm just around people. I'm serving people. I'm making people smile. You know, and that's what life's about. It's not about chasing $1 million and becoming rich, even if it is so you can help others through financial support and creating organizations and stuff, which all takes money. But if doing that takes away from how many years of actually serving, which you could be already doing, you know, like, is it really worth it? Because you never know if tomorrow's going to come. So what do I really want to be worried about and remembered by? You know what I mean? And honestly, with the way things are going, we're creating a new way of life, you know, pretty soon here. So why am I going to be feeding into this old way of life? It's kind of my perspective. So I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive. I write 10 things I'm grateful for every day, and the first is I'm happy I'm alive, sober, and healthy. So I share that gratitude with all of you. I'm happy you are alive, and I hope that you are happy. And if you struggle with addiction, I hope you are sober. You guys all have a beautiful day, and make the best of it. Keep those smiles, creating all that light to the world. And I'll be reaching out to a lot of my friends with apologies, with thank yous, and just know that, yeah, we're all here together, guys. And it's nice to be back.